Hi guys, Marty with the Aimcise Lab here. Today we're going to do a short product video about the Sweetspot Go No Go and the Pro version. What are the different features, which one's better, and is the price difference worth it? Well, let's check it out. So first, we're going to do an unboxing of what you get with the Go No Go and the Pro version and see what do you get when you buy a Sweetspot. Well, I'm going to go over the Go No Go first. So what you get when you get your box is you're going to get the heart of the unit, which is basically the brain, the box. And you'll see on it, they both say either the Pro or the Go No Go, which tells you which version you're going to get. When you get the box open, you're going to get obviously that box, which comes in this nice protective bubble wrap, so you can snap it if you feel like it, but is nice so that it comes to you all protected. What else you're going to get is the connection to your bow. So this is the strain gauges, and Donnie does a really nice video of how to attach these to a bunch of different bows. If you don't know exactly where it's going to go on your bow, you can email him and he'll tell you exactly where to go, but super important. I'm not going to get into how you attach it on this video because he did such a good job, but you're going to get your strain gauge and you only get one, so don't mess it up or you get to buy another one. What else do you get in the package? You're going to get a few more things. In all of these little silver foil packages, you're going to get next your LED light, which is what mounts into your scope, which gives you that green light and red light and no light. That's going to be the whole brains behind the Go No Go. You'll also get the fiber optic light, so that if you're running a fiber optic, you can also use it and it'll have a brightness adjustment to adjust your fiber optic light in your scope too. So that's pretty cool too. What else is in the box? You also will get a Velcro strip. So this is what you use to attach the box to your bow, and most of the time people are attaching these to their sight bar or what have you, and so that's important. Lastly, you're going to have, well, instructions. Those are important. You have your super glue to attach the bow, and then you have your connector. So you're going to basically have two ends of connectors. This black one has two different connection ends, and that is the one that goes from your Sweetspot connection to your actual strain gauge, so that they communicate with each other. And then the second one has another input in it, and that goes to your scope and your lights and your LEDs. So that's what comes in the package of basically both of them. So don't think that you need to order an extra LED light or scope light when you initially purchase the box. If you want to buy extras, you can get those, but they all come in the box so that when you're buying the whole unit, everything comes in one. All right, so now we've unboxed our Sweetspots. Well, what are we going to do with them now? Again, the other videos tell you how to attach everything to your bow, but what's the real difference behind them? And more importantly, what are you buying the Sweetspot for? Well, think about it. What either of these Sweetspots is a tool. It's a tool to help you identify and learn how hard you're pulling on your string just about at the time of release and before. So when you get your information back from these, it will show you from the time that there's no pressure on the bow to when you're drawing back, more importantly when you're holding, and then it'll also show when the shot breaks. So the most important feature of the Go No Go and the Sweetspot in general, what they're doing is measuring the strain you're putting on the bow or the pressure. And the idea is to get more consistent pressure so that you're not creeping the bow or you're also not pulling too hard on the bow. You're trying to get more consistent with the pressure you're putting on the string at the time of shot. What's that do? It makes you more consistent. The more consistent you are with that pressure, the less high and low you're going to get on your shots. So if you can maintain a really ideal and just consistent pressure, you're going to see a lot less ups and downs. That is the idea of the Sweetspot, and that's the idea and concept of training with these and shooting with them so that you're going to get in the right zone. So what's the difference between the two and which one should you buy? Well, ideally it's going to come down to how you utilize it. The differences in the information and how you access them is the real difference in the price point and the features of these two things. They both record the information the same. So they're going to both record what those strain gauges are reporting the same. How you access and use that information is the real difference between the two, and it's the difference in the features. In the Go No Go, it simply stores it in the box, and then you have to access the box physically through the buttons and go through it to take a look at your data. And that's really it. You can't plug it into a computer, you can't access it otherwise, you just basically access it. And we're gonna go over a video with those features in just a second. But the Pro version is really pretty good. The Pro version allows you to open up Wi-Fi, it'll let you tether to an iPad, a phone, a computer, and through that, it'll show you via a website all your live shooting, exactly what you're doing in real time, or it'll allow you to also check out what you're doing in previous shots and analyze each and every shot, see how they're doing, look what's happening, and maybe more importantly, you can easily identify when you had one bad shot or something just didn't go right, really easy to access and identify those things, because again, the goal is to find consistency with all this. And if you have one or two bad shots in there, it's really easy to pick those out when you can see the whole graph from one another. So that's a really big difference between the two. The price point difference, I think, is about $100 on Lancaster. So for me, the price difference, totally worth it. The Pro is completely worth it. The ability to look at it is 100% worth the extra money. Not that the Go No Go is a bad option. Still gonna get the lights. You're still gonna get everything that you see while you're physically shooting. Those parts are the same with it. The difference is the access to the data that they're storing and capturing for you through those strain gauges. So that's the real difference between the two. So if you're looking to improve your shooting and really want to get more consistent, particularly with your ups and downs, or maybe you have an issue creeping through your shot, this is really going to be the unit for you. So let's take a look at the two different units and kind of go through the differences in displays and features. All right, so here's the Sweetspot Go No Go, and here's some of the display features of this unit. First, when you turn it on, you're gonna see the current calibration setting, which is basically at 0, so that's good. The three numbers to the right are pretty important. So the top number is always gonna be your high value, and that bottom number is gonna be your optimum value that you're setting for your range. So those two on your display are never really gonna change. That middle number is gonna change as you shoot, so that's your last shot. As you can see, next to that is the shot counter. So on this one, I have 31 shots out of 500, and next to that, you have the battery percentage. So as you keep firing, that middle number is gonna change, and then the shot counter will obviously change with it. So what else do we have as far as features for this, and what else do you go through the display? When you hit the up and down button, you can set your optimum value. So this is pretty cool. On the Go No Go, how you change this is you hit the select button, and then you can just go up, down, whatever you want to set your optimum value to, hit select again, and then that's what it'll be. Then you go to your high value. So this is where the red light turns on. That's basically telling you, if you've gone far enough, don't pull any harder, and you can change that too. If you decide you want a little higher, you can go higher. If you want it lower, you can go lower. So that's how you change it and see it on the Go No Go. The rest of it is the calibrate. So when you first get the unit, you're gonna do the hard calibrate with it. Now that we've already done the hard calibrate, if we hit this again right now, it would do a soft calibrate, which basically tears the unit back to 0. So that's how you do that. A couple of the other things after calibrate would be the shots fired. So just a shot counter telling you how many shots you fired. This is also the only way on the Go No Go to actually take a look at and analyze what shots you've actually done. So on shot 31, that is where it actually had, oops, let me go back there. And how you can look at your different shots is you hit the select button, and it'll go through each of your shots. So there's shot number 31, we can go down, there's 30, 29, 28, 27, etc. And so how you go through each one of your shots with the Go No Go is this feature, and you can go up and down and check them all out. You can clear the data if you want to, but basically this is the only way that you're gonna be able to access your shots versus on the Pro version seeing it on the Wi-Fi. So that's the biggest difference. Then you can have, just like the Pro version, your brightness pin. You can adjust that. You can make your pin go up, down for brightness for having it inside your scope. And then the other thing will be the LED strip that you can mount in your scope, on your scope, wherever you want. It changes the brightness of those LED lights so that you can see them. Temperature compensation is going to be coming, and then the Sweetspot software. So that is the screen and all the selections for the Go No Go. All right, so that was the screen of the Go No Go and all the information that you can get basically just from the screen of the Go No Go. So how about the Pro version? How's that different? Well, let's take a look at the screens and then go over some of the Wi-Fi capabilities. So here's the Sweetspot Pro version. As you can tell, it says Pro on it instead of the Go No Go. So what we're gonna wanna do, most of the time it'll come up just a blank display. We power it on with the green power button. And so it's interesting, without it attached to anything, it's kind of throwing out a weird number instead of being zeroed at a tear. So what we're gonna do is, just like if we were shooting, if you have an odd number and it's just moving like that, we're gonna do a soft calibration. So you just move through your options, and we go to calibrate, which is the soft calibrate. You just hit the select, and what that's gonna do is basically zero it back down to 0 or close there too. So you can see that's what it did. We just soft calibrated it back to where it's supposed to be. Some of the display stuff we're seeing on here is my high value, my optimum value, and then the last shot. So these three numbers are what you can basically quick access while you're shooting. That's going to be your high range, which is where the red light's going to go on. You don't want to really go over that. The bottom number there is your ideal range where you kind of want to be. And then the middle number is where your last shot went. So as you're shooting and shooting different arrows, the top and the bottom numbers are not going to change, but that middle number will change because that was your last shot. Then in the middle there, you have your shot counter. It counts up to 500 shots, and I have 27 on this one. The little W you see there stands for wireless. So the wireless is on right now, and I'll show you how to adjust that. And then we also have the battery life there. So we're at 99% right now. That's awful nice. That means we're charged. Let's see what other options we got here. Calibrate again, that's for the soft calibration if you want to do that when your numbers are moving a little bit. You have your shot counter, pretty straightforward. It'll also tell you each shot, the individual number. So if you wanted to go back and look at a particular shot, you just hit the select and go up and down, and you can look at your various shots and what they did and didn't do. Then it has the overall shot counter, 27 shots since the last time I reset this one. You can set yourself a shot timer, and as some of the other videos have showed, when you turn this on and you do it, your LED lights will start blinking if you start getting close to the shot timer. So it's a nice way to make sure you're doing things the right way. You have your pin brightness for a fiber optic pin. You have your LED brightness for the LED card that you're putting in your scope. Temperature compensation coming, and then, so this is the cool stuff, the Wi-Fi settings. So when you get it, we'll go over how to set up the actual Wi-Fi, but this is what shows on your Wi-Fi on your iPad or your computer. This is how you find your sweet spot. So you're going to be looking for that. This is the password to get onto the Wi-Fi. I'm not going to share that with you. Date, all that. Looks like I need to update my date. So there's the screen difference of the Pro version versus the Go, no-go version. And again, the biggest real difference is the Wi-Fi capability of the Pro version and being able to access and review all the information after you're done shooting, and also live during shooting, which is pretty nice. So let's get into how you actually do access that from the Pro version. Super easy. Donnie has a great video on it, but let's go over real quick just to show it. I'm going to show you a version on an iPad to show you how easy it is, so that when you're at a tournament or practice or whatever, you could check it out live and after review on the iPad and check it out. All right, so we're gonna go over the Wi-Fi portion of the Sweetspot Pro. Initially, I'm gonna go here and I have the Wi-Fi off. So all you're gonna do is hit the select button and you're gonna turn it on. The thing you're gonna wanna look for is this AP function, and then this bow slash number is the Wi-Fi you're actually gonna look for. So let's find it here on the iPad. On my iPad, I've turned it on. It's searching for it. Let's see if it finds it. There it is. It just popped up right there. So you go ahead and hit it. If it's your first time logging in, you could just enter your password that comes on your sweet spot, but I've already done it once, so it automatically connects. Once it's connected, then you actually go to the internet. So what we're gonna do is pull up the Sweetspot site. And what you do is, instead of a typical internet site, you actually type in the direct spot to it. So it's 10.0.0.1. That's the Sweetspot site, and that'll take you basically into your brain of the Sweetspot. And it's really cool. Here's where you can do lots of cool stuff. You can view all of your shots at once, and this is really a huge benefit. You're seeing all your shots, and you can start doing averages and seeing what you did and you didn't do. You can check out individual shots, where they fell in your range. You can look at the full shot from before you drew all the way to draw to fire, and then at the very end is you release. So super, super cool stuff, and you get to look at it. You can go shot by shot. You can do all sorts of stuff. I found one of the other really neat things about accessing it is you go into your settings, and this is where it has your identifying information. But if you want to change your limits really quick, instead of physically changing them here on your sweet spot and kind of going a little bit slow, you could just type them in here and change your settings, and it'll automatically update your sweet spot like that. The other really cool thing is the real-time chart. I'll input a little video here, but we'll show you exactly what it's like while you're shooting. If you have a coach or something else trying to help you out while you're using the sweet spot, one of the great features of it, and it'll tell you exactly what you're doing and hopefully help you out. In sum, Donnie Thacker and Jesse Broadwater did a really nice job with these sweet spots. No matter which one you get, it's gonna help you and it's gonna make you a better archer. The only real difference for you is deciding how you wanna access this information and how much you wanna play with it and get it. For me, the Pro is a no-brainer. It's definitely worth the money. And if you're gonna invest in something like this, you definitely have your money much more well spent on the Pro version. So hope you guys go get it. Hope you shoot better. Check out aimcise.com for more info.